Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I wanted to go over this low voltage test bench video that they put out during the Q&A session because I had a lot of questions about it. I was hoping you guys maybe have some answers for me. And I'm sure most of you guys have seen this video from the Q&A, but let's go over it together because there's a lot of little details that we can talk about.
I'm JC. I'm a firmware engineer here at Aptera, and I'm going to show you our low voltage test bench.
Okay, so this is the test bench that we also saw during their Yazaki um, announcement, and we saw the Yazaki engineers around this thing. And again, there's like 3 or 4 Yazaki engineers embedded with them, and they're working on the wiring harness. And so they're going to be providing the wiring harnesses for this low voltage as well as the high voltage system.
This bench basically represents all of the body controls that we have up and running for the Aptera. Body controls are going to be things like the window motors, the door latches, and different kinds of lights. So this table is set up to enable us to program those components and watch how they interact with each other so that we can debug and we can figure out how the system would work in the real vehicle. Right now, this is where our wheel is.
Okay, so their wheel, the one that they're using is just the regular wheel. It's not a yoke, but we know that they're going to use a yoke in the actual vehicle.
And above it, you can see that we have a rear view mirror.
Okay, this is what I was wondering about. So there's obviously two different cameras that are being displayed here. One looks like a super wide angle, and one looks like it's a more standard angle. I'm guessing that both of these are for the rear, because why would they have a camera for the front? That doesn't make any sense because we're looking at the front. So I think that there must be two cameras, a super wide angle camera and a kind of regular angle camera for seeing farther back. And I think what's going to happen is that the super wide angle might be mounted here in the back. Maybe that's what this little black bump is. I don't know. And then the regular view is going to be like mounted up high here. And so the Aptera rear view mirror is not going to be a actual physical mirror. It's just going to be a screen. So even if you have the entire back covered with solar panels, and so then the back will be opaque, then it doesn't matter because the rear view mirror is not an actual mirror, and it won't you won't need a translucent rear to look through it. And also, I think this opening is pretty small, and these B pillars are really wide, so I don't think the visibility through an actual mirror would be that good in the Aptera anyway. So having a camera-mounted system is going to be far superior visualization. So I think that this camera is going to be mounted up high, and this camera is going to be mounted lower. Because if this was mounted high, the whole bottom of this would be just showing this hatch area. You know, I think if they put a wide angle camera here, then you would just get a view of like what's in your trunk for the bottom half of the screen. So I imagine that the wide angle is going to be mounted low and in the back here, and that'll give you a good view of any like incoming like side traffic or like how close you are to the curb and things like that. But this one's going to be mounted higher, or maybe they're going to mount both of these in the back. But I think this one definitely has to be mounted in the back of the vehicle, or else if they mount it up high, they're just not going to this whole bottom half is just going to show what's in your trunk. This one, I think mounting it higher makes more sense because you get kind of a higher angle and you can see farther back.
With our video feed live from behind. We also have windows, well, fake windows with weights hooked up.
Okay, so she's definitely using this touch screen to actuate the window controls. I'm wondering if this is going to be like a touchscreen where you hold it down and it moves as long as you hold it down and then it stops as soon as you release it, or if it's going to be like like closed open position where you just like touch the bottom and it goes all the way down, you touch the top and it goes all the way up. I kind of think that making it go all the way up and all the way down would just be easier. but maybe they have it graduated so you can adjust it. I don't really see a reason. The windows are very small in the Aptera. So if you look at these windows, they're quite small, the part that opens and closes. And I don't know like if there's any utility in having it like halfway open. Seems like all the way up or all the way down would be all that you need. But maybe they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna make it graduated or all or nothing kind of auto up and auto down switch.
So that we can test out the infotainment, where if you push up, the window should rise, and down, the window closes. So this little button simulates
So I think that they're having it kind of graduated.
It's the button that would be in the vehicle to open your door, and when I press it, our left door latch opens all the way. When our left door latch opens, we get the wheel well lights that would be down at your feet when you're in the vehicle so that you can see where you're getting in. And then when I close...
Okay, here's another question I have. I'm going to back up a little bit. So here's this button right here, and it's directly in line with the door latch solenoid. And I think that this thing is actually this thing in the interior. So this is either a window switch up and down, or it is the actuator for the solenoid. But then they made a separate button over here for the actuator for the solenoid. So I don't know what that is. So either this switch doesn't have an actual actuator, or this must be the window. I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
We get the wheel well lights that would be down at your feet when you're in the vehicle so that you can see where you're getting in. And then when I close the door, the lights will go off.
I kind of like that. That's a cool feature.
We also have the blinkers hooked up in the back of the vehicle so that we can test our signal patterns for turn signals, as well as test our hazard button lights.
I really like those LED lights that kind of scroll over instead of just a standard blinky, kind of a kit from Knight Rider feel.
We also have a pretty unique way of getting into the vehicle. We have two different methods for unlocking the door and getting in. The first method is an RFID card that you would have where you pull it out of your pocket and then you can tap it against the door and it will authenticate that it's you with the card and it will open the door for you. We will also be having an app where you can authenticate who you are via Bluetooth. And then whenever you want to open the door of the vehicle, you can just walk up and knock on the B pillar twice.
That's cool. I like that. Usually I imagine I'm not going to carry around that card. I would just lose it. The card may be just for like giving to like a valet driver or something. But I would always have my phone, and then having the knocking gives an actual like a second step so that it doesn't just unlock when you just walk by the car with the phone in your pocket.
So the main goal of Aptera's body control design is...
But see, if you see here, this switch is like directly connected to this door solenoid. So I think this switch has got to be the door actuator switch. But if that's the case, why do they have that other button right there, the blue button? Not sure about that.
To minimize the complexity of the wiring harness. In most vehicles, you would have all of the wires that you need for body controls, like the motor wires and the ajar sensor wires, and all of those would go towards a central computer. And you have that from every single point on the vehicle. So you end up with quite a lot of wires. With Aptera's design, we have smaller control boards that are located in the area of the controls they drive. So the door controller is going to be located in the door, and the rear hatch controller is going to be located.
So I think these are like small, like Arduino devices, type devices. And I see how having this would drastically reduce the number of wires. But then it does increase, in my mind, extra points of failure because then these can fail. So I don't know what's better. I mean, we do save on the wiring, but these are maybe points of failure, but maybe these things are so robust that they don't fail very much, these little controllers, and then we don't have to worry about it. And then these just have like a direct serial bus connection to the main computer.
In the rear hatch. This way, we can take all of these wires that come from the rear hatch, process and control them, and then we only have 3 wires total running from each location back to the central computing system.
So it looks like those the wires that go to the central controlling system are hooked up in serial. So it's not like, am I reading this right? I think so. I think they're just one set of wires and they connect the different like little, so like this unit goes to this unit and it's just like, it's like daisy chained. So that saves even more wiring. But hopefully that doesn't mean that like if this goes out, then they all go out, everything beyond it, like Christmas lights. If any of you guys are familiar with this system, please chime in the comments.
To the central computing system.
Okay, well, I think that looks cool. Yazaki said that because Aptera was a startup, that they were giving Yazaki a lot of leeway in how they're designing the wiring harness and helping them out with the design. And so I think that's good because Yazaki obviously is like the leader in wiring harnesses and that kind of stuff. So Aptera is being very flexible and not saying we want to do it our way. They're telling Yazaki, hey, this is what we want to do. You guys tell us, what you think is the best way, and they're working more collaboratively on it, which I think is a good decision by Aptera. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Please comment below on any other things that you might have noticed about this low voltage test bench. What do you think about the location of the cameras? Like, do you like the little microcontroller things and having the one wire daisy chained across there? You think that's a great idea or not? You like the knocking feature? I personally think it's awesome. And of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors. We really appreciate the people that are sponsoring this channel, and we'd like to recognize them. And thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.